My great escape happened on the day before my high school graduation ceremony. But the story kind of begins 4 years earlier, at the start of 9th grade, when our family moved us to a town on the coast of Massachusetts, far away from my friends, who I really loved. We didn't know anyone in the new town. And to me, at 14, being friendless was a fate worse than visible damage. So I was desperate and determined to be immediately accepted by my peers. So I set out to become them. First, I mastered the local language, throwing around phrases like, "When are you gonna pack that cat?" "Going to the packy?" and "Wicked awesome." Next, I took quick inventory of the various boxes that a person at Nauset Regional High School could confine themselves to. The brainsters, the beauties, the nose pickers, the ass kickers, the sexually active. I decided I'd fit pretty neatly into the good girl box. Not great girl, but good. Good grades, good hygiene, good times. I didn't choose badly. The good girl box was a comfortable fit for a box. But by June of my senior year, close to graduation, it was getting kind of tight. Now, early June at the tip of Cape Cod has this transitory, transcendental kind of feeling anyway, like something good is coming. The skies have finally turned from this washed out gray that's unrelenting to a deeply saturated bright blue, full of promise. The sun is warm, but the air and the ocean has yet to catch up, but they're going to soon. It was on one of those days that I learned that my diploma was going to be withheld at graduation if I didn't turn in an overdue advanced biology report on chicken eggs. I don't know why I didn't turn it in, it just slipped. Not to worry, a classmate named Andy Horn from the Brainster box said that if I could get over to his house one town over, he'd help me get it done right then and there. The only glitch was that my dad's first ever brand new car, a Chrysler, was blocking the only car I was allowed to drive, the old station wagon with a broken driver's seat that wouldn't sit up. And nobody was home to move the Chrysler for me. By the way, I wouldn't have even known it was called a Chrysler, except that my dad had been talking about it for months. He was spreading out all the full-color brochures on the dining room table. Anyway, no one was home to move the Chrysler, so I had to move it. I worked super hard to carefully back it down the driveway. I was sweating. When I finally got to the end of the driveway, I felt like I freaking deserved something. I deserved to drive that brand new car. So I did. And it was lovely. It was quiet and floaty. The driver's seat held me right up to the steering wheel. My only note, Chrysler, if you're listening, is that the ride is super sluggish. Well, it was sluggish at first. About halfway there, it suddenly got not sluggish at all. It picked right up as I was heading down this pretty little hill that was dotted with rambling hydrangea bushes. I was cruising toward the intersection of busy 6A and coming up on the house of our grade's hottest stoner from the stoner box, not to be confused with the smoker box. Totally different footwear. Would hot stoner be home? Would I wave in slow motion? I almost didn't notice that an illuminated brake light had begun to flash, and this little horn started beeping like and a judgy. I thought back to my driver's ed class, and I wished I had gone. So I put my foot on the brake to see what the fuss was about, and it went all the way down to the floor. No pushback, no brakes, no slowing down. I was suddenly so unbelievably scared, I didn't know what to do. I gripped the wheel, I held my breath, I looked at all the stupid dials and knobs and lights, and wondered how hurt would I have to be for my dad to forgive me for wrecking his car. I hope not disfigured. Toughie. Later, I would learn that driving for a prolonged period with the parking brake on. And this particular vehicle uses up all the brake fluid, and then you have no brakes. I didn't know that then. All I knew was that the intersection with Route 6A was about 500 yards ahead. Hot Stoner's house was coming up on the left. The car actually seemed to be picking up speed, and like I said, no brakes. Maybe I could get the car to stop if I opened the door and stuck my leg out and used my heel to slow it down. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm not. But seeing the ground outside gave me an idea. At least must have, because what I did next was I used all my strength and I opened the door and I jumped out of the car. Yeah, it kept going. Back to me. I clearly remember the moments I was airborne, and I wouldn't be for long. And instead of that feeling that you have when you're about to hit the ground like, oh, fuck, I felt amazing. I was Farrah Fawcett from Charlie's Angels on Wednesday. I was Farrah, not little Miss Perfect Jacqueline Smith or Kate Jackson with the sensible haircut. I was Farrah, and Farrah was it, you guys. She was the angel who pushed the envelope. The actress who quit the show when the producers couldn't see past her image to all that she really had to offer and all that she was worth. Of course, I didn't have the rigorous training that the angels had from Bosley. But I did survive the jump. And I was able to push myself up and watch the car veer off the road, slam into a bunch of trees, crumple right up, kind of like a stomped-on Miller Lite tall boy. Hot Stoner was not home to find me in his front yard, but his rabid little brothers were. And they'd seen the whole thing and had a lot of questions. But eventually they called the paramedics and the tow trucks and my dad. He was mad. And I think sad. But he showed up for my graduation the next day alongside my mom and my little sisters and my brother, despite threatening not to. And every graduate got a diploma, of course, chicken egg report or not. I called that bluff. The cap and gown covered most of my injuries, but it didn't matter because even before I entered the packed gymnasium and limped through the arch of black and yellow balloons, Hot Stoner's brothers had managed to get the story out to everyone. The brainsters, the beauties, the smokers, the good girls, everyone. I was mortified. Then, as I looked around at my classmates, my friends, I realized no one gave a shit that the girl who jumped out of the speeding car was from the good girl box. It was just something fun to talk about. It occurred to me that the boxes were my creation. I had stuffed myself into a box, no one else. Did I do so to hide or protect the real me? Obviously. It's kind of tragic, since what I wanted most in the world was friendship and connection. However, jumping out of that box was the first step outside of a box of my own creation and into the light of a bright blue sky early June day full of promise. Technically, it was more of a jump than a step, but that jump was wicked awesome.